Hi internet people, it's musical Riverdale time. Woo! I'm not going to sing this whole episode. I'm not going to subject you to that. So, I am wearing my Barb shirt because the lovely actress, I'm going to say it wrong. I always want to say Sharon when someone's name is Shannon and Shannon when someone's name is Sharon. Shoot. Goodness, I should have looked this up before I started filming. This is what happens when you don't really edit. Anyway, Sharon, it's like Purser. I feel like that's the right person. Oh my gosh. Just disregard what I'm talking about. She's in this episode and sings and does a lovely job, but she's also in period clothing because it's Carrie, like they're doing the musical Carrie at Riverdale, and so I kept thinking Barb the whole time, and so I had to wear the shirt. But anyway, Carrie has been cast, and Betty is playing the stereotypical good girl character. Veronica is the stereotypical bad girl character. Archie is playing the boy next door, aka John Travolta. There's actual character names, but every time I watch Carrie, I'm always like, oh, it's John Travolta. And then Cheryl is Carrie. We also learn that Alice is playing Mrs. White. Gasp! Not the clue, Mrs. White. She has a real name. But she'll be in the musical, which is so interesting. But there's tons of singing. There's even singing in scenes that are not connected specifically to the musical, though I believe they're only using numbers from Carrie. I admittedly did not research that fully. I just kind of assumed that once you get the rights to one musical, you're just going to use the songs from that musical throughout the episode because it's cheaper. So they are doing the musical Carrie, and there were no auditions for Carrie because Cheryl got what she wanted and there's no casting for Carrie, she just is Carrie. So she's trying to prove to people like she's on top, she's back in her game, she's good to go. So she's handling, like she does a ton of singing, it's really great. She and Josie also make up. I'm jumping around the episode. This is what happens over on these Riverdale reactions. I just leap everywhere. She and Josie get a duet, she and Josie make up. Betty and Veronica also get a few duets, and they wind up making up, but only because Betty says something a little snarky, admittedly minorly snarky, to Veronica, and Archie like confronts her about it and is like, you're really being the bad girl in this situation, da 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 da. Like, really? Okay. Your girlfriend is facilitating her mobster parents. It's a little bit different than certain things, but I mean, Betty did also hide a dead body. So, I mean, no one's making great decisions. So, yeah, that happens. They forgive each other. So, forgiveness moments occur between two female friendships. But beyond that, Archie is also dealing with his dad. So his dad is actually helping with the musical because he's really excited that Archie's getting back into music and like wants to support him because he's kind of glad that this will like get him away from Highr'd a little bit. So they're working together on sets, but Archie has not told his dad about the brand new car that he's like hiding down the road. Like he's not really hiding it exactly, which I find interesting. He winds up asking Veronica if he can hide it at the lodge's garage because he doesn't really want to talk to his dad about it right now, so he just wants to hide the car. Whatever. So that's not great. Highr'd and Hermione are also like really, really shady. Mostly Highr'd. Hermione doesn't really talk too much this episode, which is interesting. But Highr'd wants to plan something nefarious. He actually says something wicked in keeping with the theme of this week or something, and I was like, what? Does Highr'd know we're on a television show? What is happening? So he has this like grand plan cooked up to get like it's not deceit, to oh my gosh, why are words not working today? I keep wanting to say consent, which is not the word that we're going for, though consent is important, so always have consent. Consent is very important, but that's not the word we're looking for right now. Dissension? I don't know what was happening between Fred and Archie. He's going whole hog. He's also the producer of the play, and there's a giant Hermione Lodge ad on the back of it. But he winds up telling Fred, oh hey, by the way, have you seen Archie's new car that I gave him? Blah, 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 blah. And then that leads to a fight between Fred and Archie, where Fred's like, I wanted us to like go get a car at the junkyard, and we would rebuild it together. This whole thing. Archie feels like a jerk. Which he should, because he's actually been treating his dad like crap for weeks, months, at episodes lengths of time. That's happening. Alice and FP are having issues. I'm very sure they hooked up. Like, that scene where we saw the two of them, I'm sure they hooked up. she then, like, goes to talk to him and, like, tells him she's in the musical, and FP kind of blows her off. Not in a mean way, but he's just like, I'm at work, like, da-da-da. And then she and Hal actually have a scene where they're, like, talking things through and working some stuff out. But Alice is also trying to get a hold of Chick, because Chick is not returning any of her calls. She's really worried about him, and it then leads to her singing the mom song from Carrie, and she, like, breaks down and actually starts saying Betty instead of Carrie, and then is afraid that Betty is going to leave her, like everyone else, and Betty feels awful. The reason we know all of this is primarily because Jughead has been tasked by Kevin to do a behind-the-scenes documentary. He thinks it'll be really cool, so Jughead is filming a lot of stuff. On top of all of these, like, relationship issues occurring, Kevin gets an interesting letter from the Black Hood, or someone pretending to be the Black Hood, saying that they want Carrie recast ASAP. Cheryl is almost killed by a sandbag falling on her. She doesn't die, but there's this letter, and then Jughead and Betty do some investigating. They think that, I literally always want to call her Barb, and her name is not Barb in the show. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. But now that I'm wearing the shirt, I can't, I'm sorry. You have a character name, but I'm blanking today. In the comments, everyone, tell me her actual character name. I will have looked it up by the time this goes up, but still, I'm gonna keep calling her Barb. I'm sorry. So they confront her because she wanted to be Carrie, and turns out, nope. She's like, it's not me, it wasn't me, I didn't do anything, I didn't write that letter. So Betty and Jughead think it's actually just some kind of prank to get at Kevin to recast Carrie. So they kind of blow it off. Kevin then gets another letter. Same thing, like the cutout stuff. And then Cheryl's mother insists she cannot be in Carrie the musical because you need parental permission to be involved in that. Which I find interesting because I did musicals and stuff in high school, and I don't ever remember needing, like, a consent form. I'm sure in theory my parents could have pulled me out of something, but I don't ever remember, like, a physical consent having to be given. I'm sure it's like an unwritten rule, or it's probably a rule in most school handbooks about parental consent. I did talk about consent moments ago, and it is important, but, like, her mom pulls her out of the show. Cheryl is super upset. Tony actually tells her to just stand up to her mom. Like, you just have to stand up to her. You are Carrie. Do the thing. So that leads to some interesting stuff. I mean, I applaud Tony, who had an amazing outfit for this musical. There was a rainbow shirt and a hat. It was great. So Cheryl has her own plan. She does get recast, though. Midge is going to be Carrie opening night. So Jughead is still filming. Fangs is also back and, like, co-directing with Kevin or assisting Kevin. I don't know. I feel like he's flirting with Kevin, but then he talks to Midge before the show goes on, which is interesting. Betty also invites Chick to watch the show, which is another curious turn of events. I think it's to set a lot of things up because Chick is there. Fangs talks to Midge before the show. There's a lot of moving parts here. So that's happened. Before the show, because Cheryl's actually at the show watching it because she can't be in it, she confronts her mother wearing a nightgown type dress that sort of looks like Carrie's prom dress, and is covered in blood and holding a candelabra, which felt very Crimson Peak. If you have not seen that movie, you should see it. It's kind of a horror movie, but not really. I really liked it, but it feels very Crimson Peak. She confronts her mother, says she wants Thistle House for her and Nana Rose, and that her mom and the uncle gotta move. Like, they're getting out. She wants her independence. She needs them gone. So it's an intense scene. But the night of the show, she is watching with Jughead. So that's all happening. There's a lot of things. Jughead is continuing to film and finds cut-up magazines in, her name is not Barb, in her dressing room. I'm so sorry I keep screwing up her character's name. I feel bad. I can't remember her name right now. He finds them. She insists that they were for her vision board. Like, she didn't leave those letters. They're threatening letters. And then they're doing the musical number. Alice is singing, and then it's supposed to be Carrie singing next. It's either a duet or some sort of musical tie-in. And when Carrie is supposed to sing, Midge does not sing. Midge is dead and, like, pinned to a wall. And the Black Hood says that he's gonna get everybody he didn't get before. So that's great. Real great. Terrifying, really terrifying. Because beyond being terrifying and awful that Midge is dead, Moose was super angry. Fangs, I feel like, outed him to Midge, is what I keep thinking happened, which is a weird chain of events, because then it would be she died but knew about Moose, and maybe that's why Moose was angry? I don't know. It was a very, like, I don't know. That's all I could think happened. But, like, it was I was not prepared for that ending. I knew they had teased the Black Hood plot was coming back, and I did not expect that at all. So now there's been a murder at the school, so now everything is Black Hood connected again, and Black Hood is going after people he couldn't get last time. So this is going to be an interesting setup. I don't even know. I really, really like this episode. Everyone was really talented. Like, it was a fun, people died, so, I mean, fun in quotes. Although people die in the Buffy musical, and that's also still a fun episode to watch. So, like, it made me think of the Buffy musical episode, while the Buffy musical episode had its own music, like, it was written for that specific episode, and this just used Carrie. I thought it worked really well. I really liked it. I thought the cast was very good at performing. They all did a great job. The choreography made me smile. Like, it was cute and fun and pretty easy. I liked the costuming. I liked all of that. So it was a really great episode. I thought it was well done. I would definitely like to see another musical episode in the future if they're feeling it. So let me know your thoughts on the musical episode of Riverdale in the comments below, or on Twitter. I am at ClefNotes. You can find me on my blog, clefnotes.wordpress.com, or for the Nerdy Girl Express, thenerdygirlexpress.com, and or on their Snapchat, thenerdygirlexp. Bye, internet people.